Draft for game number 3 here. Queen of Pain Beastmaster picked up by NaVi. Gyrocopter Disruptor going the way of Vega Squadron. We had pretty much our normal bands out. Keeper of the Light, also a Whis, Undying, pretty natural, and then you combine with the Lechwreck. So this time around, we're actually going to see an even split. Queen of Pain on one side, Gyrocopter on the other. No Lechwreck, no Wisp. Feels a little bit more even this time?
It feels very balanced like our last game. You start off the first two, it's like, you know what, both teams have a lot to work with. Like, they can build into a lot more. For me, it's the overall composition. It's that one little floater here which just makes sense or doesn't make sense that seems to just keep popping in. Like, the Bounty Hunter made sense to start with, then his item progression in Game 2 didn't make a hell of a lot of sense. He ended up going into the support thing, which then put more pressure on Pasha to actually become something. As opposed to being the killer.
Well, he can't right-click people, though. Like
he can't, but yeah. Who are you really going to hunt? Because you still would have had Hand of God there. You wouldn't be able to go like a Dagon build.
You can't man-fight a Gyro as a bounty hunter. You have to have BKB. And then if you have BKB, you have no damage, so they have to have the Ursa do damage.
Yeah.
Now our second set of bans, Darkseer and Clockwork. NaVi banning away both of the most dangerous offlaners they can. Meanwhile, the Wyvern as well as the Shadow Demon. Now, we can definitely understand that Winter Wyvern, we already pointed out several times, Sineko, incredibly strong on that hero, and probably a hero that many teams are not expecting to pull out as many plays. I mean, he's a newer hero. You still got to adjust to his playstyle, right?
There's also the synergy with the Beastmaster as well. The big thing about Winter Wyvern is you want another hero on your team who has some way of granting vision. So whether it be like Zeus or Bounty Hunter Track or Beastmaster Hawk, you just want to be able to see people for Arctic Burn and being able to chase them down, because I think your range is somewhat around snipers, maybe a little bit longer even at max rank. I can't remember how much exact distance you get, but just having that synergy in of itself is great for the Winter Wyvern. So already having the Beastmaster, Vega go for the obvious ban. I think that's solid. Shadow Demon could have been a pickup for Vega, but I don't think they're very familiar with running it. So I think that it's safer for them to take it out because it is great against Gyrocopter, just being able to purge any kind of BKB carry. Soul Catcher also going through BKB. It's just an overall safe choice. And for the first time, I think this series, we're going to see Ancient Apparition make it into the pool. He was banned second phase, both game 1 and 2.
By NaVi.
Yes, by NaVi, and they managed to get their hands on it this time.
I think the reason why Vega lost so badly last game is because they deviated from their formula that got them this far. They usually draft like four heroes that can teamfight very heavily, sometimes a fifth, but the fifth can be like an Ursa sometimes. But last game they had an Ursa as well as a Bounty Hunter, and when push comes to shove, you want to be able to 5-man and team fight and when you're behind. And they just didn't have the amount of AoE and control that they normally have. So, I would just like to see them go back to what they're comfortable with. 5-man AoE, Shadow Fiends, Gyros, these kind of heroes.
Okay, so my question is, what about the middle lane here? We still have that opening. Nyx Assassin, the offlaner here for Vega Squadron. What do you want to run as your mid for Vega Squadron up against the Queen of Pain, knowing that there's the heavy lockdown of the Beastmaster for the offlane? So my first reaction would be, okay, what about a Puck? It works really well with teamfight and does quite well, like 50-50 against Queen of Pain. But then you have Beastmaster, right? So that kind of discourages me.
Shadow Fiend with the mech.
Shadow Fiend, okay.
Really, SF in this matchup? I think it's like when you get level 6, for example, Aurora kills the SF, like just alone, right? Because you can't heal. The Grave might save you for a little while, I guess, if you're in good position. I guess it could work, but I think it's a bit susceptible to getting crushed like super hard with these heroes.
I think, but what hero wouldn't die to like a Beastmaster Aurora plus like Quab ulti plus Ancient Apparition? I think like if you have that threat of like, okay, we have to keep Shadow Fiend down, then they have to either Gyro or Shadow Fiend's going to get farmed, and Shadow Fiend can kind of be your sacrificial lamb with like Tread's mech or even like a Yule's build to try and stall things out. And of course they always have the Grave in case they focus too much onto one hero. Yeah, he's going to die afterwards, but that's again where the Gyrocopter comes in. So I do like Puck too. I think Puck's pretty good.
We now see the Nyx Assassin Earthshaker now picked up by NaVi. Let's talk about the Nyx Assassin, though. Not the most popular of offlaners in 6.84, has been seeing a rising popularity since we got into these qualifiers. Mag certainly showcased the power of the late game Nyx Assassin just recently. Do you guys think this is a fair pickup going up against the Queen of Pain? Obviously, the mana burn's going to be quite strong, but what else?
I think he's just good in general. Like if you look at NaVi's team, they have 4 heroes right now who have AoE damage. So like Axes, Queen of Pain, Ulti, and Scream. Ancient Apparition, Ice Blast, Shaker spells all have AoE, if you have Aftershock, of course, which you always will. So there's a lot of things to Carapace, which I always put high value on, because it can disrupt combos. For example, like if the Queen blinks in and you can anticipate her jumping, you can just get a free 2.5-second stun off. I think that's huge. In the late game, a 4-second cooldown mana burn, if you manage to also get your hands on Aghanims, good luck pushing high ground with those heroes. Like, Na'Vi are going to need some kind of range core to be able to, I think, break high ground, unless their Beastmaster gets, like, Book and, like, Vlad's, some other stuff to be able to breach that high ground phase. But I think Nyx is... A lot of people have this perception of he needs to be able to do something in the early game. I would actually say he is almost more of a dangerous late game hero than he is early mid game.
Yeah, now with that Scepter, he is. That Scepter upgrade is incredibly good.
Yeah.
And the Dragonite actually going to be the last ban. I was going to suggest him, but we've actually seen the Dragonite versus Queen of Pain matchup several times in the playoffs, and that does not go very well for the Dragonite. Just the laning phase is really tough for him, in which case Vega Squadron had to come up with something else as their mid. We already talked about that, though. What about the last pick of Na'Vi? The ban out was Vega Squadron taking away the Lifestealer. Common pickup for Avos, especially when they've got a blinking hero like Quap.
Did I just go Jug? Like, Na'Vi Jug, I think, is really good now, even after seeing the Shadow Fiend. Merlini called that a bit earlier. It's really good if you can find an isolated target, but I think it's going to be kind of tough against Vega. Yeah, okay, it's Jug. It's kind of like one of the only heroes that's left in the pool that can, in the early game, kind of man fight against Gyro, or that big AoE kind of team fight thing with the Requiem now, with the Shadow Fiend and the Gyrocopter in conjunction with that, plus a Nyx. I think it's a really safe hero for the early mid game. You can just go in and fight whenever you want.
Sure. Ben, what are your thoughts on
Very
the last
good call,
pick, Juggernaut?
Andy. They also banned out the Lifestealer, so they're scared of the magic immunity because they have heroes like Disruptor, which just get completely owned. And it's really nice versus the Glimpse, too, because you're never, like, as a carry, you're going to get Glimpse back because they want to kill you the most whenever you push. So you being able to just spin out of it and just TP away and walk away is always really nice.
Okay, so as we're looking into the laning phase, anything particular stands out, or is it going to be defensive tri-lane and defensive tri-lane, mid SF versus Queen of Pain? We've seen those matchups quite a bit.
I think the Dazzle might spend some time around mid just to ensure that the SF has a decent early game. I think it would be really nice to make sure that Dendi doesn't just dominate against SF, because Queen is one of his most played heroes, I would say. Like, you think about Queen, you think about Puck and SF for Dendi. So I think it wouldn't be too bad. If it's just an offlane Beastmaster, having the Disruptor down there and the Gyro should be enough to zone him. So I feel maybe if they can get the SF off to a good start, Vega should be looking to be in a good spot.
Okay, and build on that, Draskell. Do you give the advantage to Vega seeing this draft now?
I think this draft is pretty much straight 50-50.
Okay.
I actually don't think anyone got a clear benefit from this.
Toby, I see you're nodding your head, so you agree.
Yeah.
Ben?
I love it.
It's
All right.
pretty even.
All right, so it makes it for an interesting game number 3. The score is currently tied up 1-1 between Vega Squadron and Na'Vi. Our casters, of course, being Toby and Merlini.
I'm looking forward to a good, even matchup. No imbalanced one hero, nothing like that. It's all going to come down to just how great the players are and how well they can execute their plans. Because this SF, like I know Draskell was saying before, he wants to see like Vega rotate the Dazzle in, maybe just make sure that they get some kind of lane dominance over it. But it's also, you got to look towards the jungle stacks. You got to look to control up this area so the SF is capable of flash farming. Same kind of thing you look for from Na'Vi, if they can flash farm in the jungle, but also give some of that experience over to someone like the Ancient Apparition, get him level 6. These are the critical things I'm looking for, at least for in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game.
I'm going to look for Saniko's movements because Saniko has 3 clarities and no regen, so he's obviously not going to be doing any zoning and just clearly trying to be killing people. And his aggressive posture in the early game, they wanted to control the top area of the map so that they know that they don't have a reserve reward for the Earthshaker. And if an Earthshaker can come in, fissure once, kill Shadow Fiend, that is the start that Dendi is looking for to just kind of control the Shadow Fiend all game. And, of course, just make him a very vulnerable target for a Blast plus Burst Down or, Omni Slash. You want to keep Shadow Fiend in that very vulnerable position. You can't let him farm like a Yules and a mech and then just... Like, yeah, sure, they have an AA for the mech, but still, Yules can negate a lot of damage and just set up for huge bursts on the Queen of Pain, which, you don't really want that happening if you're Na'Vi. So, again, control SF, Shaker, like, even the threat of him and just that top half of the map being dark for Shadow Fiend is a really big threat. And he's forced to go to the jungle a lot more than you would normally.
Is it worthwhile for the SF to get a little bit more aggressive in the lane then? Like go into Shadow Rays before you go for your Necromastery? So you're able to drop Dendi down to a point where he won't feel comfortable getting near the lane. Because that will slow down his bottle progression as well. Obviously it slows down your damage increase, but Like if it helps you win the lane, maybe this is the better way to go. So work with Seema, get that poison touch out, slow Dendy down, force a blink, force him to retreat from the lane.
Well, it always depends on his build. If he gets a salve, it's not really worth it. But if he
True.
doesn't have a salve, then it's perfectly okay.
Well, what do we actually got on Dendy then?
Yeah, and the
It's actually 2 shared tangos only.
and the Dazzle's already mid, so they can't really look to pressure it that much. So Nika may be looking for a bottle snipe. I would assume that no one started off with like a Wraith Band, so it's gonna start. Oh, he didn't. Okay, so it's gonna come out really, really soon. Let's see if he can get it. Usually the chicken will micro like east and then to the right.
The Dazzle's moving back for it. The Dazzle actually going to move to protect it. So Seneko, he comes up, checked. Did he see him? I think Seneko was around the tree line.
I don't think he saw him.
Which means that courier's going to come back in a normal line because the Dazzle's already cleared the area. So Seneko, okay, no, he must have. Yeah, the ping's coming out. It's like I saw something, I hear something. There's earth pebbles moving in the mid lane.
He even went enchant level 1 to try and get that kill. So what is a level 1 Shaker gonna do without
nothing?
Well, he can get Bounty Rune and try to get level 2 and pull. There is no actual spawn block for Navi, so that's really nice.
Oh,
That's awkward.
There's your damage. If that was a fissure, that could potentially be first blood. In fact, it's highly likely it'd be first blood if it was.
Yeah, I actually don't think he should have cast it there just for the threat. But regardless, now Shadow Fiend will feel very comfortable because
well, he's seen the ability too. He knows there's no fissure on the field.
And by the time he has to get level 2, and then he has to go to lane, and then he has to make sure that he doesn't have any HP regen. So if he jungles, he's not going to be at that healthy of an HP. Okay, he must have gotten pulled or something like that. But
wow, that's just salt in the wounds. You get more damage, and the next assassin returns it with Spike Carapace. But that mid lane's actually being crushed more than we look at because Dendy's had to buy an extra salve. So he bought this, so his bottle's been pretty heavily delayed because the SF did go for the raise level 1 build. Now, he did most of that just to farm, as opposed to... brain. Yeah, he uses it to farm as opposed to collect souls. There's the words finally connecting into the brain. So he's still going to be late getting that early physical damage up against Dandy, but when you get the raises off anyway, you drop that Queen of Pain down, and you push her well off the lane.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job of raising out the lane and controlling the CS and getting runes. And, a lot of it has just to do with the Dazzle, making sure that the chicken was safe and, making sure that it's not a fissure into a kill and controlling the lane for him so that he can get that regeneration rune. And that's pretty much Shadow Fiend's early game secure, which is what you're probably most worried about if you're Vega.
Which is kind of funny when you look at it this way, like the level difference where SF isn't level 4 yet, but Queen of Pain already is. That is because obviously he's splitting the experience with the Dazzle a lot. But still, it's the stacks which are now not being able to be stopped as well. Life is just great. And Vega put down an aggressive Observer Ward in that bottom lane. I'm wondering if he's doing that just so he can get the good glimpse area. Seneko, does he have level 2 yet? Okay, it looks like he does. Yep, Matt. Fissure is up. But Solo's definitely playing a good vision game here. He's going to realize, too, as his ward's about to get attacked, that... actually, no, it won't because he kept the aggro of the creep wave. But they should be getting rid of that Dire Observer Ward, Dire Sentry Ward shortly.
Yeah, I don't know how he managed to get that ward down.
It looks like it's in range. It looks like it should be in range.
What?
No, there's the Sentry Ward above it.
There's 2 sentries. There's 2 Dire
Sentries. Oh, yeah, it's the 2 Dire Sentries. I'm like, why have you got 2 Dire Sentries in the same area? Oh, good fissure on top. Mag, this is a horrible position for him. Spike Carapace buy him a little bit of space. Seneko body blocking him in, and Mag will be the first blood there. So even though Seneko, a little bit late to the party, took 4 minutes before he found a good fissure block, it still does spell first blood for Navi. And Dendy's caught up. Dendy is well ahead of the SF. Even though the SF is secure in his lane, you've still got Dendy with momentum.
He had to walk all the way down bottom for the regeneration rune at 2, which hurt him a little bit. And now... we see a pretty darn farmed Juggernaut.
Fisher's down again. And they're trying to go on No One. Seneko poisoned up. He may not die from this one. They should be more worried about No One because Denny keeps battling up here. Blinks away from that last raise. And will survive. The Earthshaker also to limp himself away to safety. Not great health regen or mana regen, so he'll have to go all the way back to base.
Great play by the Dazzle, though. He is doing everything that he needs to in this early game to ensure that things go okay for no one. That I can't stress how important that is for Vega, that the Earthshaker has just expended so much time. But Earthshaker's doing really well. He almost has his Tranquil Soul, and yeah, he hasn't died. He got his level 2 really quickly, got a kill on the top lane, and of course he is making the Dazzle play a lot more conservatively than normal.
Well, for the Dazzle, he's just happy letting him farm. That Jar is still having the time of his life down the bottom lane. 36 for 24 is CS, and Pasha, nothing's really going to stop him in this game once he's got his combo up and running. Now, the Juggernaut's kind of like that one guy I look to see how much damage he's capable of dishing out.
Is that in range of the sentry?
No.
Oh, wow. That's
Just
close.
out.
I mean, they might have seen him place a ward, though, just due to his movement as well as his inventory, so I'm not exactly sure if they're going to deward it, but...
There's a potential kill on bottom. If Solo kept running for that rune, the rotations over from the Queen of Pain and the Earthshaker would have sealed his doom. But they let it go, which means the rune should go to the Queen of Pain.
Smoke picked up by Sonico. How is AA doing, by the way? We haven't really seen him too much. I want to see how close he is to level 6, and looks like he hasn't been able to play that greedily, even without the ward block.
He spent most of his time in the lane keeping the Nyx Assassin back.
Nyx Assassin looking for a kill on mid, but he is not level 6 yet. And now Dendi spotted out by the Observer ward.
They're running in, and well, a blink back completely wafts the stun unless his target was that range creep. Dandy will be very, very safe behind that tower. Even with the Fidget coming down, the chance of them finding that kill is low. Very low. Funnick, come on back down again. The call down. And Rocket Barrage. Funnick has to run down to the river. He had no other choice here. And that's why Pasha turns on the... Wow, wait. Turns on the flag cannon and Solo's gone. Did he just let him die? I think so. Saw the TP coming in from Denny, realized turning around is not going to be worth it. That would have lost 2 for the price of, what, an offlaner?
The cooldown was way too slow. You want that cooldown to land like right as he gets glimpsed back. And he was able to walk out of the cooldown after the glimpse. And that should not happen. You'll see like heroes hit like Split Earths, which are much smaller AoE than the cooldown. And they need to get that timing a little bit better just so Funnick can get that kill. I mean, they have him as a reward just so they can make that play on Funnick, and now Funnick is going to have like a free coast to 6.
They're having a crack at AA on top lane. Disruptor's TP'd up here, and he's looking for Art Style. And Solo, he's got no way to cut through, but he's got a level 2 glimpse, so he wants Art Style to move back a little bit further, and then he'll just pull him back in again. And they know exactly where he's going to move to. Okay, throw up the wall, throw up the stun. Art Style, is there enough damage? Okay, now they got to glimpse it back so they can get these extra last 2 attacks in, and Art Style will die on top lane.
Ooh, that was very close, though. Nice play by him.
Kind of felt like patience from Solo more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just knew, like you had to back up at one point, and that's when you'll have to glimpse him. But 2-1 in favor of NaVi. Things are still fairly even across the board. Like I haven't seen anything which is gonna say, "Oh, this game is over." These kind of moments are really, really bad for Mag. The Fissure, you could commit on me slash. In fact, he will do so. No Spy Carapace will be able to save the Nyx from that. Just easy kill for the Juggernaut, and they can move on to the next target.
Yeah, the Nyx has been playing a little bit strangely this game. I think that one move mid, where they tried to get that kill that was very far-fetched, like, it hurt him a lot. If he were level 6, like, they at least forced one of the supports to have a sentry or a smoke.
Surprise.
Ooh.
That is a deafening blast out from Dendy. 4-1 now.
So now they've shifted from trying to control Shadow Fiend to just killing mid and top, which is a very apt response because it's very difficult to invade the jungle this early.
You just pick off the areas you know you can reach. Funnick's feeling so safe on the bottom lane because the Hawk's seeing everything. So they're using wall to get some vision. But with the borders here too, Solo can't just chase it down. The Observer Ward gives him vision, but not if Beastmaster hugs the right side of the lane because that's where the ward does not see. But you do have an SF now with the mech up and running. So Vega, do they even have a lineup which can force down lanes? I'm not saying force to buildings because like that eventually will happen, but you're looking for some way to get NaVi to come into a team fight.
Not really, I don't think. I mean, yeah, right clicks with Shadow Fiend, but that's really it. I think.
Is there a better? Do you even want to do that now that AA is level 6?
I think it's better just a skirmish because if you 5-man group up the AAO, it's going to be even more effective. And they just need to be able to get kills with the Nyx Assassin. Nyx Assassin getting level 6 is going to be extremely important.
Jump in from Dendy on Mag. The Scream reflected by that Spike Carapace. The Vortex keeping the vision up for Dendy. He does not have Sonic Wave available, but the Fissure is here from Seneko, which means the stun is up and the Nyx is down. 5-1 NaVi. Momentum is just their name right now. When you've got a Mask of Madness already on the Juggernaut 10 minutes into this game. His chase is solid. There's no BKBs. There's no real slows to stop him.
The Nyx is way too far behind.
Yeah. It's kind of become a non-factor hero now.
He also doesn't have mana burn, so he can't really burn the Quap down that easily.
That Ice Blast is so brutal on them. Because they know there could be a jump in. They know there could be long-range feeds. The Dazzle is dropping really quickly. So is the SF. But as Dazzle is the one who's about to die in middle lane to the Queen of Pain as well as the Earthshaker combination. But it's the bottom lane with the tier 1 tower. It's Vega. They're just trying to force it. Navi's on their way. The Ice Blast is still on cooldown for the moment. So they don't have it back yet.
Dendy following up closely behind. Looks like Funnick not quite level 6 yet. Maybe if he were level 6, they would have tried to make a move as soon as they were leaving.
Solo. Snako can get the initial stun. He's also got Echo Slam. And the Ice Blast is in the perfect position. If there was any support right behind him, they would have instantly got hit by that one. But Seema's stun, Seema's TP actually made him wait a little bit too long before he arrived. So it's just the Disruptor to get caught out by Navi.
So Nico's movements has just still been really good. Yeah, sure, he didn't kill the Shadow Fiend very early on in mid or get the chicken, but he forces the Dazzle to go there. He kills top, he kills bottom, he scouts out all the runes, and I mean, this guy, like, he finds a lot of farm out of nowhere too. Such an amazing support player.
Making the rotations work. Doesn't need much more apart from the Blink Dagger. Like, really, every other item doesn't really matter at all. And now the Fissure, too far away. Sonic Wave will come. The Ice Blast already did its work on no one.
Just as soon as he's that misses the Fissure.
The Shadow Strike, it's not enough damage to force the Shatter.
Yeah, they whiffed on the Fissure there. That was really close to being a kill.
War. The Obs War.
Who is this guy anyways?
I don't know. Either way, Juggernaut on the run, but yeah, well, the spin will actually stop the glimpse from happening. And Evolve does have Omni Slash available, but Dendy has a haste rune over on the Disruptor. It could have been any worse. Ancient Apparition's in a lot of trouble on top lane. Artstyle being hunted by Mag. That was, by the looks of it, his first Vendetta usage as well.
I'm surprised he got the kill without the mana burn. Generally, like, when you're judging your HP versus a safe HP threshold versus Nyx, you account for mana burn as well. So he must have been really low for him to be able to get that kill.
Might have a surprise up against Pasha. There's no mana for the Roar available for the Beastmaster at the moment, but Snako, he doesn't have Echo Slam. Well, sorry, I mean, there's no cooldown. He has Echo Slam available.
And now Juggernaut's, trying to take over other parts of the map. He can't really deal with Nyx anymore. I don't think he has Reveal, so he can't really kill Nyx anymore. HOD's nice. Same build he went last game. Try and stack it up. As well as stealing the boar.
It's such a nuisance for Pasha. When these Ice Blasts keep hitting you, like that was one Ice Blast that dropped him down by 50% of his HP. Now, it's a big smoke up from Vega. We are during nighttime, so I don't think that Observer Ward that was there from Na'Vi actually saw what was going on. But Vega see the Hawk coming out, and they just go on Funnick. And a kill is a kill right now. They needed something. It's a smoke initiation in a way. They shouldn't even stop the Beastmaster from buying his Blink Dagger before death.
And also, I mean, there's no tower there. If the tower were really low, I think it would have been a much better move. But they can't transition into a Roach or a tower. And at the end of the day, it's okay. At least they're getting kills. They're making Na'Vi think.
It's something.
And react.
Like, even if it's just a moral victory, if we can kill him, we can find him out of position, and then Na'Vi just have to group up a little bit more. That will give space for Vega to get back into this game with a high level of farm. I'm probably looking at the support heroes to also find something, Dazzle as well as Disruptor, because the two cores from Vega are still doing very well. Like the SF as well as the Gyrocopter are happy as Larry. There's the Nyx Assassin core, who's just not too content with where he's at the moment. And Poor Man Shield, and Arcane Boots, it's not much to write home about. But he does have his Vendetta of cooldown 3 seconds time, so they might look for another opening here. Arstyle's the only one showing himself, so Snako is just sitting there inside the trees, and in comes Mag. So it starts, attack once, stun, follow-up, Arstyle's dead, Snako, the Fissure will come, but it's very, very late. Trying to get in range for the Echo Slam, but a Force is on the way in. There's your Echo Slam to control Solo, and Mag actually isolated out so far that he was able to be fully Omni-slashed up into the trees. Solo will get sliced. And the Juggernaut Horvorst able to pick up a double kill for the cost of an Ancient Apparition, which is a well worth trade.
Man, Glimpse is just not very useful when they do so much burst in a matter of, like, 1.5 seconds. By the time the Glimpse is back, you're already dead. It's kind of like the Spirit Breaker last game. He already did all his damage before the Glimpse can actually go off. Well, NaVi, they should be able to transition into Roche pretty soon, and I think that's when things get really hairy. Vega, they're not really in that much pressure right now, mostly because their Shadow Fiend is really well off, on top of Gyro having free reign on bottom and in the jungle. But once NaVi, I don't know if Roche is going to be able to take out Roche soon, but he should be able to, and then they start taking out towers, then I think it's going to be really, really bad. But Vega looking to make a play right now.
Maybe they can catch Horvorst out of position with his Omni Slash down, and well, dire observers and sentries. Horvorst spins, TPs. Now, is that spin going to last long enough? Yep. Which means there is no glimpse back from Solo. No control factors at all.
That's why Jug is such a good pick here, because he doesn't need BKB to make that sort of play. And if any other hero would have just melted in that situation, aside from Lifestealer and
Vega
Jug.
banned that out as their 5th one anyway, so...
Very smart pick.
Ice Blast, perfect positioning. The Fissure. Oh, I suppose they're going to keep Pasture there. And then all the rest of NaVi arrive. That's just a Pasture sandwich. NaVi's movements are so good right now. If I was Vega, I would ask for like a 30-minute break between the games just so you could stop NaVi from having this momentum. Because this kind of momentum has happened from the last game, now here into the 3rd game, and the series can keep moving this direction if Vega's not careful. I'm not saying like Vega is out of this game because they've still got a lot of farm on the Gyro as well as the SF. They've got a lot to work with. But right now, mentally, they're cracking. They're being picked off in so many locations in every single part of the map. From bottom to mid to top to jungle, everywhere. They're being discovered and killed. And the cost is high.
Yeah, it's not like they're losing like Dazzle over and over. They're losing Gyro. They're losing Nyx Assassin. Shadow Fiend hasn't died in a while. And
the Nyx is 2.9k. The Earthshaker has more than he does.
But luckily, Ancient Stacks, BKB out for Shadow Fiend. And yeah, Roche is going to come very quickly with Beastmaster.
It's just a wonderful day to be a NaVi fan if you're looking at this game at the moment. Because they're rolling through it. But the SF and the Gyro... Like, I still wait to see Vega just hit one big fight, and that's one thing which NaVi could potentially struggle with. Right now, most of their kills have come through pickoffs, which is fine, because their lineup is actually quite good at that. The long-range initiation from the Earthshaker Fissure, the Ice Blast, which can be there globally, just needs a little bit of setup from Vision. The Beastmaster with his Roar is single target focus kind of style. The Echo Slam, like, you do have a lot of AoE that's also potentially there, but most of the kills just been like one-on-one. What happens when you add your Call Down on top of your Sonic, on top of your Requiem, on top of your Static Storm? This is when Vega can be really, really like punishing against NaVi, and the Shallow Grave will make NaVi switch from target to target too. If all of the single target I was just talking about is negated by the fact you got Shallow Grave, then Vega dictate what targets NaVi go for, which right now it's the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, NaVi just have so much damage though. Like, they don't really need Roar for that many of these fights, especially if Earthshaker gets his Blink Dagger, which he's really close to, especially considering how active he's been. 1-0-9 under Earthshaker with no deaths yet to his name. And then they have like Quap Ulti, AA Blast, and Juggernaut, Omni Slash. That's almost going to be enough to kill anybody on the side of Vega. So I don't know. Like, 5-manning is not really a good play for them right now. Mostly counter ganking. Like, you drop a Static Storm as soon as Queen of Pain blinks in or something like that, or as soon as someone gets roared, and then you can actually turn around the fights. But now that Juggernaut has Aegis, he can be the one up front and personal, see out all those heroes, bait out all those ultimates, and then crush them in a team fight.
Always get cautious when I see Tranquil Boost just sitting on the ground. Tsuneiko's mopping up most of the wave anyway. Just one of those things. You drop it, you could lose it. But there's no jump from Vega. There's pull back, there's just no jump. The next Assassin Vendetta is the only thing. And they may have to use it again. Yeah, he's still short of that Blink Dagger over on Mag. But they're grouping up, so they're looking to smoke, but...
Would you die for those Tranquils, Toby, if you could?
No.
No? Like, let's say you were Bane, and you could sleep him and then walk up and get it and die. You wouldn't do it? It's very tempting.
If there was a chance I could live, if there was a win scenario in all of it, sure.
That is when getting the Trinkles.
That's not just. Yeah, you screw with a lot of the money, but is it really worth your life?
That's a lot. Trinkles are a lot of gold. I don't know. It's like almost 1,000 gold. It is 1,000.
It's actually exactly
I
1,000
forgot
gold.
about the ring of protection thing. It's a lot of money, Toby.
It is.
Is your life worth 1,000 gold as support?
Well, yes. If you put it down to basic math, then yes. But am I worth more than just a number, Marlini?
Your one life, not your whole entire support play.
It's true. I could be reincarnated. It's fine. Come back to life again.
If you were a Wraith King, would you do it?
Hell yes.
Okay.
Hell yes. Level 11 Wraith King. I don't know if I'd agree to like the level 1. Do I really want 300 seconds on cooldown for my Ankh? Not really. Oh man, Juggernaut's so big. It's just... he's just spiraling out of control. I don't know how Vega are going to deal with him once he has the BKB. Because the control factors from Vega just don't exist anymore for him then. Like, the cooldown is the only thing that's going to slow his movement.
And, I mean, he has to be, like, caught out by surprise by the Nyx in order for them to stop the Omni Slash or a Static Storm dropped. But Nyx doesn't have Blink, and...
He's about to ulti. You know, her boss was just going to let it rip. The wall's going to kick in.
I mean, he's been able to dodge every single one of these ganks with, like, a spin on a glimpse or, you know, just straight Omni Slashing and killing someone. And it's just extremely difficult to kill him. And as you said, yes, if he gets BKB, he is, like, almost 100% safe unless they have some, like, sick initiation of events on him.
Because the BKB lets him stay during the fight. It's not just that, well, I can disjoint one ability that comes at me. It's the continuous presence of him during the fight. Now no one. Well, he's going to BKB and Requiem in the trees, and then they back up. It was merely a fake, and now he's going to go again. This time he'll let it go, but Dandy, how does he keep finding haste runes? He's running after no one. But then actually going to back up. There's a lot of support coming in from Vega. They didn't have vision of this. There wasn't an observer ward looking for it, but everyone else is missing from the lanes.
Yeah, I mean, his whole entire team came in from Vega, so it was definitely the right call for NaVi to not go for that. But I mean, you can tell that they're making Vega protect the Shadow Fiend, and they're making all their teammates come and try and help him out because they know what this lineup can do. And that was without Aurora. If they had slightly better vision, or if it were daytime, probably they could have gotten Aurora and just straight killed him. But you know, whittling away 1 10-second BKB charge is just as good.
Yeah.
Or if they had Omni Slash there.
Funny's gonna be really happy. He's got Necro books. Like, he's sitting on a level 1 Necro book money right now, so he could buy the entire thing if he wants to. But he's also got the Blink Dagger behind him, so you're getting your initiation from your Beastmaster, and you're getting your push power from him too. Not to mention your teamfight presence, which comes from those Necro units.
So once Nyx has Blink Dagger, what can they do? Maybe kill the Quap? I don't know.
He actually has the Blink Dagger now.
Quap has BKB, so it's...
Well, Omni Slash, Ice Blast on the way in. Pasha actually stopped to let the cooldown go. And that may have just been enough damage because the Ice Blast connected. Yep, he's going to shatter from this. Mag wants to get out of here, but there may be no joy. That BKB from Avors just walks into the storm. He needs to get back out the other side before it wears off, and he'll be able to do so. End up just walking through, killing off the Dazzle. The Shadow Strike, it will disjoint. The Scream off target, and Nyx Assassin is away. A little bit further over towards the west, that's where Solid's going to get mopped up by Avors, so a double kill for him. But Mag, even if he now does survive this, it's just a blink onto the high ground and TP out, or to the trees, or somewhere where it's safe. He's in the trees. And now he'll TP.
It was a very smart play for Havos to get BKB. It's the right item because the only way that you lose fights is if BKB doesn't go off. Or, sorry, Juggernaut gets stunned out without being able to use his ultimate. Or gets caught in a static storm kinetic field and can't use his ultimate. But that is just so improbable once he gets his BKB. And Disruptor
he walked through it during that last fight.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He just can just completely ignore Disruptor. And on top of Nyx Assassin, too. Yeah, sure, he can Carapace, but he's still going to die.
Seema. That's a level 2 AA ulti 24 minutes into the game. Arstar got so much space in the top lane. And the Aghanim Scepter's rapidly approaching too. He's only a point booster away. So 900 gold. You have a level 2 Ancient Apparition ulti hitting Vega. Is that even a kill? That's actually a straight kill on Dazzle if the Ice Blast connects.
Well, Vega, they need to find something to try and pull themselves together. At this rate, Navi's just going to take Aegis number 2, get a little bit map control with blinks and picks, and then just crush Vega. And, you know, Vega are just kind of letting it happen at this point. They're looking for kills here and there, but at this point, Havos BKB is up.
Havos does so much damage. He's got a Demon Edge, just a casual Demon Edge on him. He only just finished his BKB and took that fight, got double kill, and now buys a Demon Edge. Dendi blinks himself away as Vega are right behind him. But they're grouping up as 5. It's the only way they can fight, though. And Vega are very much aware of this. Like, they can't just have these 1-on-2 skirmishes up against Na'Vi players, because they always seem to lose these battles.
But when team fights play out in my mind, there is such a little possibility that Vega can win the team fights. Like, they have to have everything go right. Whereas,
but what other choice have you got? Like, if you look at the possibility of like a big team fight for Vega, and then you look at like the pick-off game, like if Vega just try and sit back and farm, then Na'Vi, for me, the odds are even better for Na'Vi in the second option.
maybe a Roche gank.
A Roshan, yeah, but that would rely on having like solid vision around Roshan to see when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which so far has been hotly contested, and really now with also a gem on the Earthshaker, which fairly certainly is going to be given over to Funnick, they're going to get rid of every single ward that Vega would even have on their side of the map, or around Roshan.
Vega are trying to regain some sort of map control, but with BKB up on Quap too, I mean, she's just such an unlikely kill. Like, it's so easy to BKB out of Glimpse, not so easy to BKB out of like a Blink Nyx Sun, but it is still possible. This cast point is not that short.
Yeah. So you can see it coming.
You can see it coming.
Yeah. Actually, what's with the break time though? Like, if you don't Vendetta hit first, like the animation time, like I think that was something which like Puppy was always telling me like 2 years ago. Well, that Ice Blast is nice. Matt's going to get hit by that one. It's not the full upgrade, but it's still level 2. And Havos, well, BKBs. He's still got Omni Slash, but he's pretty close to the creep wave, so he wanted to go further away, and now he can just go to work. Bounce it around, and then, well, Requiem doesn't really do that much. SF, the Shallow Grave might keep him alive a little bit longer, and Havos is traded for this until Denny arrives with a Sonic Wave. The Beastmaster is the man to kill off Seema, as then he blinked himself away to safety. And Echo Slam has arrived from Snako, hitting on Solo. The wall, though, Denny blinked into it with the double stun from Mag. It's a double kill for Solo because it was inside of his storm that it ended up happening. As, well, let's see that again. All right.
Okay.
Well, that seemed to go poorly. I don't know if we could see the end of that fight again. That'll be wonderful production if you can find that somewhere.
Juggernaut really messed up there. He didn't spin when he killed SF, which made him get hit by Requiem and then immediately die. He was at like, I don't know, 35% HP, and then he can just heal up with Healing Ward and, you know, spin back to safety and then go in from round number 2. But him dying immediately off the bat, I mean, I guess if anyone else had more damage on the SF, then he could have been okay too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was just disastrous blinking into that at the end of the fight, and that was the big fight that Vega was looking for.
Yep. And this means big items for them. Solo being able to get up closer towards that Aghanim Scepter for him means these BKBs we've been talking about from Na'Vi, all these wonderful abilities to dodge Vega's damage, they may not exist anymore. Especially if you can have such an ulti as we saw then, where Dendi, he blinked into the middle of the Disruptor ultimate. You wouldn't have seen it coming. So yeah, let's watch this again. So Snako with the Echo Slam, and then Dendi joins him inside the wall and in the storm with the double stun. There's no way to break free of this, and it just gives so much space. I don't think he did. Like, is that BKB still on 10 seconds for Dendi?
It shouldn't be. I think he just popped it prematurely.
9 seconds.
I think he probably popped it like maybe 3 or 4 seconds after the Juggernaut did, but they should not have lost that fight. That was a really good fight for them with the AA ult at the start, and then there was just like no echo.
They pulled out just at the right time. Posh's going to walk in. It's like, wait, I'm sure there was meant to be somebody here at the home. And it was because Roshan went walkabout. Snako hiding in the trees in a very difficult to get to area for them. But the pings are still coming out from the Jericho saying, I'm fairly certain it's here. The Hawk comes in, and there's the wall. Snako very quickly blinks away. And Vega, they were just looking to try and contest Roshan. Can't get it, but they still are going to find a position for a fight. But there's another haste rune in bottom river.
Well, Echo's back up. They can take a fight.
How does Dendy find these? Every single fight, he's always got a haste rune. And they got Pasha just around the corner. They can see him. The cooldown's on the way, but it's in a non-factor area. At the same time, the fight's been completely split up. Denny's already got the double kill with that Sonic Wave. They move over. The Omnislash mopped up most of those Mana Star illusions. Now there's your Requiem Assaults, but the damage output is minimal. Havorce, though, he does still end up dropping as he is smack bang next to Pasha. As Funnick, well, he'll blink over to join Denny for the moment. No Necro books available for him at the moment. Neither is the Raw, so he just leaves the Hawk behind. And they'll TP themselves away to safety. Why does Havorce keep end up dying? I know he's right next to the SF and the Gyro. It's not the greatest position for a Juggernaut.
I mean, he could have just spun and ran away. He didn't use his healing ward again. He's level 19 and he doesn't have max healing ward? That is crazy. Is he level 19? Is that for real?
That's the Jugger. That's a 1 and a 9, man. You can also say it's a 9 and a 1, just the other way around.
Stats are pretty important, but I don't think foregoing that many levels of healing ward is beneficial, especially when you keep dying. If he has level 4 healing ward, he BKBs, he Omni Slashes. That's 12 seconds or so you shouldn't die, and then you spin out. That's another 5 seconds. That's 17 seconds. That's so much uptime in a fight, and then you just reset with a healing ward. And he shouldn't be dying in back-to-back fights. At least one fight I can understand. Not spinning, it happens, but back-to-back fights is just disastrous, especially when he was able to secure the Aegis earlier, and now the net worth discrepancy between him and Gyro is very, very little.
It's kind of interesting to see that Vega, especially the supports, we're seeing Mag now going in for this Aghanim Scepter. He started the run towards it, but Solo would also say it's better to get something like an Aghanim Scepter for himself over Ghost Scepter, where you could possibly burn out some of the charges of the Omnislash of Juggernaut. That's another option they've got too.
Well, Ghost Scepter saves 1 life, and Static Storm will be able to kill 2 or 3 important heroes in the fight.
Here they come. Mag, blink in, wait for Roshan. Funnick's on the high ground. Actually, he's completely out of the fight on the side. He can throw axes, but that's all. It helps to kill off Mag at least, but the cooldown's doing his work. The Static Storm is down as well. Pasha stands his ground. Now the Shallow Grave. He has to back up. The Omnislash is right on top of him. Havorce, the Centaur Storm trying to find him. Then in your Echo Slam. It's from Seneko. The spin's still there for Havorce. He survives this time. Solo cannot finish the job. 4 heroes lost with the Scream. Almost picking up no one. But NaVi, they keep everyone alive this time around. Havorce by the skin of his teeth. He's still at the Aegis Immortal anyway. And there's that healing ward at level 2 healing him up, ready to push bottom lane.
Now he's forced to. He's level 20. He only has 5 skill points left.
No choice.
He does do a ton of damage with that. That is one of the biggest benefits.
It's still a 2-2-3 build. Not even a crit up and high.
Yeah, it's true. It's a lot of HP.
It is. He's very, very difficult to kill. If he didn't have every single skill point up that he did, he wouldn't have survived that.
He also wouldn't have died the last 2 times. Actually, it's more skill usage. But regardless, NaVi, finally they execute a team fight, I would say, as properly as they should have gone.
Yep.
And yeah, here we go. They get there just a little bit too late. And yeah, Funnick's completely useless out of the fight. But
I'm not quite sure what he meant to do, if he was actually thinking he could get down into the river with that.
Without Static Storm being upgraded, they're able to pop their BKBs, and now Havorce is not scared to man fight. He pops his Omni Slash right here, the Grave comes out, and then he will spin to finish off the Gyrocopter, and then the big Echo is about to come out from Seneko.
Yeah, that really is what turned the end of that fight right there. Or else Solo was just going to glimpse him back and wall him up and just control every kind of position. The hilarious thing is, even with the foul blink by Funnick, he was still able to make sure that no one couldn't return to the fight. So Seneko got the Echo Slam off. No one was wanting to move further up the river, and he would have reached the rest of his teammates. But because he could just sit there and he couldn't find a target, he was actually trying to get in range to roar someone in the middle of the river, but he wasn't in range for it. So then the SF came next to him and was like, sweet, I found myself a target. And they isolated him out.
Both carries on Vega actually went for a Battle Fury, and that's not a terribly common build on Gyrocopter, but I think it's pretty good when you're versus a Juggernaut. But one of the big problems with Manta style on ranged heroes versus Jug is that Jug can just proceed into a Battle Fury and just do even more damage during Omni Slash.
Okay, yeah, you meant Mana on the Vega course. You meant
Manta on the Vega.
Okay,
sorry, yeah, Manta on Gyro in SF. Go. But you'll see them pop right when they anticipate an Omni Slash. But I mean, on top of that, it's it's just not that great because of the like Sonic Wave is also really good versus it, and Echo it does even more damage if you have the Manta illusions. So it's a double-edged sword.
Well, Navi's ready to push, but the Aghanim's up on Disruptor, so keep your eyes peeled for that control factor.
They have to get Dendi with it though, because if they use it on Havos, Havos will just trade his Aegis for us.
You're not going to get Dendi with it. Like the way Navi always engage, it's a Vorse, the crazy one on the front lines, let everyone like tank it all up. And Dendi plays the Queen of Pain in the traditional way. It's that, well, I let the rest of my heroes do the damage, then I jump in and I finish the job. Sonic Wave, Scream, get the kill, then blink away, come back in again, get another trailing kill. That's the Quap way.
They have to get a big kill out of it though. Ideally, you want to kill Jug, but Jug has Aegis, so it lasts for a really long time now. And I mean, the counter to that, unfortunately, is to just BKB even earlier than before, so that you don't have any chance of not popping your BKB. But then again, you don't want to waste it. You want to be able to overlap your BKB with the Static Storm. But knowing that they have a big turning point with that item, it will smoke up.
Oh, Havorst. Okay. He came down there to try and stop the Wild Wing, who I'm assuming is controlled by Vega's gyrocopter. By the helm of the Dominator.
Now he has Healing Word. But it's only
He
level
does.
2.
But he doesn't have mana. Oh, nice Echo. Really nice Echo. No one just gets blown out of the water. And now, well, where else do they go? The Omni Slash down. The Mana Style soaks up a lot of it. Still some extra damage into Pasha and a Vorse. Chase it down. Nice double stun from Mag. That's a Vorse going to blow up. And Dendi, you wanted it. You got it. They caught out both of them. The Aegis Immortal will now pop to a Vorse back to the world of the living. But it's bought space for no one who bought back to be part of this fight. Glimpsing a Vorse back. You knew it was going to spin, but they got to keep up with him. Mag does have that blink. I don't think there's enough mana for... Actually, he does have enough mana for stun. But 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and a Vorse. He's just such a quick runner. Seneko will TP out from the top tier 2 tower. And Navi should count their lucky stars, but they did get a buyback from the SF.
That was pretty good. They got Dendi with it. That was the big one that the Static Storm caught, because he definitely did not pre-BKB that one.
It was the two of them together.
Yeah, well, Jug had already used most of his spells. Well, here we go. Sick Echo, and with the Scythe of Ice now on Dendi, a lot of overkill on him. But still, they end up nailing the Shadow Fiend and forcing him to buy back. Kind of lucky with the Omni Slash bounces that it didn't stay onto the Manta illusions. And here's where the big Static Storm came in.
That was the play from Solo. He was so far back that there was no way that Denny would have really seen it coming anyway. And then he just blinks right next to... I'd say right next to Gyro. There was still decently spaced, but the area of effect of that storm is just so big. I think Seneko is looking to go again. Starts with the totem, but he's lost the vision.
I mean, ideally, you want to be able to like dodge spells with this BKB, which is a greedy play, but
He's gone. That's actually a kill. I believe Solo is going to shatter from this. Is this the Ags ulti from AA? It should be. And the answer is yeah.
He's still really high HP.
Yes. But it's a level 2 Ags ulti. It's not enough. It's actually not enough.
Do they have Gem on side of Navi?
There was a gem, but that was purchased up by the Earthshaker before. Then it was carried by the Beastmaster. So it's over on the next assassin now. Mag, well, he has that Ags. Burrow and hide. And then Necro units, they see him, they roar him. Man, it's just like a frosted top. And Nick's assassin, he will die. That's not an unkillable Ags, Nyx. Or Lurker, I should say.
It did take a couple ultimates. 3. To be exact, but they did get the gem, so that's big. That's huge.
And then you got Butterfly now over on the Jugger. You got no Nyx Assassin for 50 seconds. There's no buyback available for him. And Havorst just found a bigger target. It's an isolated SF just ripping into him. He's far enough away from the creep wave. If he needs to commit the Omni Slash, he can do so, but it's not required. Switched on the Mask of Maz, and now Solo TP'd up to try and control him. The Glimpse won't work because Omni Slash does better. Mopping up that Disruptor, and even Pasha. The Ice Blast is on the way, and Funnick, he was about to roar. But actually, no, he couldn't. He was still on cooldown, so he was about to look at him. And they'll push down the middle lane now.
Give him the death glare.
Yeah. It's over, man. Look into my eyes.
Now Shadow Fiend has no buyback. This is another big opportunity for Navi to try and close out the game, or at least do significant damage to the...
It's mid-racks. It's 100% mid-racks.
Oh, he has Butterfly on top of that? That is...
Yep.
Yeah, he is mega farmed. I mean, those couple early deaths by Mag just really hurt him.
Sadeko sitting on the edge. If Vega have any intention of trying to slow down NaVi here, that's going to happen. And the perfect time for the creep wave to spawn up. So we even got the extra buff up from that. The shallow grave is going to keep up the gyrocopter until finally the Ice Blast will take him out from the Ancient Apparition. But with those 2 kills, this now means a second set of racks. They didn't want to wait, and they will call GG. NaVi go up 2-1, are now 1 game of victory away from taking the main spot at the International 5, which already has almost $10.5 million prize pool. It's gone up massively during the qualifiers.
So Nico, again, another beastly Earthshaker performance by him. Just setting Mag back, it just jumpstart Havos to that ridiculous start of having a very early Mask of Madness into Saint Yasha into taking Roshan and then taking control of the map. That's the best out of